The new technician we have in Campbell, he started on Monday. We fired him today. Driven Diary is the documentation of my life as I build a $1 billion automotive service business called Driven Auto Care. We currently have 3 locations in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we will grow this business until we reach a $1 billion valuation, at which point I believe we will have made a dent in the perception of the automotive service industry in North America, which is something that really needs to happen. Driven Diary is basically a journal, and I film on a daily basis to document what it really looks like behind the scenes in entrepreneurship and some of what's going on in my personal life and with my car collection at the same time, because that's good for YouTube. So if all that sounds good and like something you would want to see more regularly, please do not forget to subscribe below. So with all that said, let's get to the video. Okay, we are looking at a marketing dashboard here for the month of December, and I want you to take a note at number 18 on this list of the top 20 things that people Googled to find us. De plastique brûlée voiture. Now, if you don't speak French, but I do, I took 2 years of French in high school, that means burnt plastic smell car. So I guess we do actually have a blog that's called Why Does My Car Smell Like Burning Plastic? That seems to be doing very well. We also have BMW Oil Leaks blog post, which is also doing well. So marketing, man. It's Monday morning. I'm in the San Ramon shop. I'm here because we let go of a technician here this morning and had a new guy starting today. Not easy, this one. You know, this guy was a good guy. He just couldn't cut it performance-wise with us, and let him go. So hopefully he lands on his feet. I think he will. Told him I would write him a letter of recommendation. New guy started today. Gave him some pointers on things to do, and we kind of just put him to work. We got stuff to do here. Got a big to-do list, but at least, you know, I feel like I'm not sprinting a million miles an hour right now. I can kind of sit and think here for a second. So, taking the time to film. Happy New Year. Hope you all had a good holiday, New Year's and all that. And I'm also subdued because I got stranded in Death Valley over the weekend. So it's probably a story for another time. But basically, I put like 1,500 miles on our Explorer over the weekend. Some of it unintentional, driving all the way out to Vegas because it was the only way out of Death Valley on January 3rd after some decently heavy rains for an hour or so. There was a lot of flooding and roads got washed out. We made it home. Yeah, I'm a little behind this morning. We've come to an agreement on the purchase agreement for the 4th shop. That deal should be closing at the end of January, which I'm very excited about. But financially, we need to pick up the pace this month and get some more revenue in the existing shops here. We did make money operationally in all 3 shops in December, but barely 10% net operating income, and then after all of our one-time expenses for cutting people and warranties on the Porsche and things like that, we lost money. So got work to do to increase cash flow here, but our expenses are finally in line where they're supposed to be. So that's all for now. Well, it's Tuesday. Oh, what? Hamilton, what are you doing? Got your broken car in here. I don't know how I feel about that. Let's see what's going on. Let's talk about this. Looking clean. Just got it detailed for some reason, because there's some detailers that wanted to do some cheap work, so I gave them this. And I think it came out pretty good. I mean, the interior of this was gross and smelled quite bad, so They made it look quite a lot better in here. I'm happy about that. Tint is super dark, can't see nothing in there. And then this had never been washed in my ownership, so it's about time. Got it all looking spiffy again. I don't know who says spiffy, but maybe I do. I've been here all day, Tuesday, like I said, I'm in the office. I'm just pushing through stuff in the office. I got a lot done today. I ran and closed out the books for December of 2025. And December was good. We made about 30 grand net operating profit and lost, unfortunately, about 16 grand after you take into account the Porsche warranty that closed this month finally. Multiple terminations in the company that have one-time cost implications outside of operating income, and then a write-off for the one account that went uncollectible because the customer picked up their car without paying Alex. Not what they claim, but oh well, that's long in the past. But overall, Q4 was about as good as I could hope for, considering what the first 3 quarters of the year looked like. We made plenty of money, and it's showing that we will continue to do well going into next year. So I'm excited about that, most certainly. I'm just cleaning up some final things here before I send information off to our tax accountant. But January 6th, to have all that kind of stuff done, that is the accountant in me, but it's also the guy who knows that I needed to get information out for bonuses for managers for December. So everybody earned a little bit of a bonus, not a big bonus, but a little something. It'll help boost them up above base pay. And I'm looking forward to seeing what goes on in January. We've got plenty of work going on in the shops. All the shops are busy, which is I'm very excited about. And cranking through stuff. We got a new tech in Campbell who started yesterday. He's doing okay. His write-ups are nice. They're good. His diagnostic write-ups. And then our new tech started in San Ramon yesterday as well. I trained him up. He's looking good. He's fast. So overall, pretty excited with how things are going here. And Kay is selling a lot in Campbell, which is also very refreshing. John is still selling a lot. Dylan's doing a great job. So yeah, that's what we got going on right now. I'm selling a lot of stuff too, I should say. I'm selling a lot of car parts that I've had just stockpiled in the back corner of the compound here that need to go. So all that feels good. That's all for now. Okay, I don't know how well you can hear me, but we're in the Passat truck this afternoon. It is Wednesday afternoon, and I just left the San Ramon shop because it needed a clean out. I never finished cleaning out the San Ramon shop after we took it over. I did finish cleaning out the Campbell shop, and it needed a lot. But the San Ramon shop, we needed to finish cleaning it out because, frankly, we're getting a 4th shop. I can't have the 3rd shop not done. But I have the windows down because it's extremely dusty, everything in the back here. And we're taking it to Fremont, where there's a much bigger recycling situation for all of these old records. These are all from 10 plus years ago. Not very worried about, statute of limitations or anything like that, but it just needs to go. Better late than never that it is going. And that shop looks good now. So I'm excited for what it looks like. Hamilton and I were very busy, mostly Hamilton, unloading the mezzanine of the shop, but we've got it pretty much cleaned out now. So that's exciting stuff. I'm gonna try not to die on this trip back down to Fremont. That's all for now. Thursday afternoon, I'm on my way home. It's been an interesting day, and there are a couple things I need to talk about. The first one is that the new technician we have in Campbell, he started on Monday. We fired him today, this morning, in fact, because he no-call, no-showed. He complained about not getting paid for watching a couple of video trainings before his start date. So he complained about that, cited some sort of legal regulation around that, which I found it does exist. So I texted him and said that I would pay him for that time. And he said, no, I need time to set up my toolbox. Just give me that time instead. And I said, okay, I'll let you talk through that with the manager of that location. Then apparently he comes in the next day and complains to the manager for like an hour about the fact that the manager told me about the training pay thing. Then we learned that he is making a lot of mistakes. He's missing things on inspections. And then he's performing installs of parts just incorrectly. And then he no-call, no-showed this morning. So we just fired him. It's like not worth the story. It's not worth figuring it out. This guy loved to talk already. And, you know, I didn't know if my first impression was correct or not. It very quickly came to fruition, I guess. Like, my first impression of him was good. When I got to talk to him more, I got a little worried. And it panned out fully. Like, fully panned out in the worries all the way around. Man, that is bright. Oh, can't see me at all. Yeah, so that happened. And then the other thing that happened today is I went to the fourth shop to meet the landlord and finalize with the seller. And so I met the landlord, and he's an 85-year-old man that was born on the property. He lives on the property. It's 2 separate lots. He leases this shop. Used to be his dad's service station 100 years ago. Now he leases it out, but you can see where the gas pumps used to be, where the lifts outside used to be. There used to be a motel on the property, a restaurant, all owned by this family, and a house. And they are the typical, you know, we are never selling out our property to the city kind of people, which just gives us a lot of security, which I'm happy about. That was interesting. But you know what, it also kind of, I reflected on this during the meeting, and I wanted to share it. And I'll talk more about this landlord. He's actually very cool. His history is very cool. He has this amazing museum on his property right next door. But I want to talk about something I realized in the meeting with the landlord. This guy's been on the same property his whole life. He has always been a local business guy. He and the current tenant, the seller of the business, are like friends, and they go back. They got, 20 years of history, and they're really, they're talking to each other about each other's families. And I was sitting there filling out the lease application by hand, and I hear them talking about, like, oh yeah, my wife, this, and their family, and this other friends of the family, and all this stuff. And all these people that we all know because we're all local and been local forever kind of people. And I was sitting there going, I've lived in London, I've lived in Seattle, I've lived in 4 different cities in the Bay Area, or 3, I guess. I don't have any of that local community connection. I've lived in the same house for 4 years, and it's the longest I've ever lived in one house since my childhood home. And I don't build those kind of relationships with people, and I kind of think that that's how it's going to be. Or maybe it's that I'm bad at building relationships with people. I am friends with no one from high school. I am friends with very few people from college. No one from before high school. Like my life is very current. And so it's interesting, it's an interesting kind of place to be in life, where like I realize I don't have those kind of like really deep relationships with people I think that's just how it is. I don't know. I'm getting deep, I admit, but like, that's what it kind of feels like is that, I am that type of time investment is not something that I'm willing to make. And so it is not a joy of life that I will get to experience except with my own family. And I'm getting to experience that with my own family, I should say. The time investment where, not every second is productive with your family. And that's okay. But even that for me was hard to accept. So that's like the mindset shift that I'm going through is the type of deep relationships that you have to build require time investments that may not feel productive, but the relationship in the long term may feel productive. So we'll see how that pans out in my life. Maybe I need to get more patient with certain people and build more of those relationships. You never know, I guess. That's where I'm very, very self-reliant. I'm very, very, I don't expect anything from anybody. And I know why that is, because, when I used to expect things from other people, it made me very entitled. And when they didn't give it to me, I would be very upset about it. And I realized that that's not the way life is. And I got so upset, I tried to kill myself. And that's when it stopped, is I realized, like, if nobody else can save me from myself in my alcoholism, which is what I was having happen, as I had an incredibly codependent relationship. I would call my girlfriend at 2 a.m. crying, and she would come and console me from my alcoholism. The day she didn't pick up is the day I tried to kill myself, basically. And it's not because of her, but basically it was because she wasn't able to save me from myself. I was left to my own devices, and therefore I tried to kill myself. And so, like, that's a very vulnerable position that I don't want to put myself in ever again. And so I'm not doing it. And that means that I'm not really building relationships where I feel like I can depend on people. I have employees, and it's an arrangement where, they are compensated for performance. The only exception to this is my family, specifically my wife. I mean, it's really just my wife right now that I feel like I have that kind of relationship. Anyways, that got deep. So I've fired 2 people this week. Talking about the depth of relationships. Yeah. That's how life goes, I guess. That's how, I'm not here to build warm and fuzzies. I'm trying to give the reality, especially to this outlet of the Driven Diary. I'm very much trying to be real here. So, hope you can hear me in my now very, very loud E92 M3. It's super drony at low speeds, this new exhaust I got, but it sounds better at high speeds for sure. So, that's all I got for Thursday. Talk to you later. Friday morning, 10:35. We're supposed to start shooting content at 9:30. I have a lunch date with Evelyn that got moved from 12:30 to earlier, like 12. And I had a coaching call with our social media coaches that was scheduled for 10. So shit's not lining up in the damn schedule today. And it's 10:35, and the call that got rescheduled to 10:30 hasn't started yet. Just frustrating, to say the least. Fortunately, on the Driven Auto Care front, I do not feel this sort of feeling. I feel like when people say they're going to do something, they do it. I can trust that there's follow through. I get responsiveness, timeliness. So I'm happy about that. I'm also, I spent some time this morning responding to comments, both on Driven Diaries as well as shorts on YouTube. So there's a lot of new subscribers that have come from shorts, and people on YouTube don't like what I have to say. They're very Dave Ramsey. They think that aspirational material goals are bad. They think that going and financing a car because you love it is bad. And they saw me talking in a video a couple weeks ago, pretty much on the bike, the exercise bike in the gym for every video. And they claim that I don't actually do any work, which I thought was interesting. So yeah, all that said, I'm responding to comments. And I think I look forward to making this content, whether it happens today or not, with all this lateness going on. But yeah, life's pretty good. Evelyn was out of town pretty much the whole week, got back very late last night. I had a lot of time with my son and felt that, I was out of the house really only like 7-8 hours a day, and I was able to get a lot done. I didn't feel super like I was fighting with one hand behind my back this week, and I enjoyed a lot of time with him as well. We're recruiting technicians in 3 shops. The Fremont shop guy lasted 2 weeks. The new hire there, he lasted 2 weeks. He was rather unethical and did not have a very good work product. The new Campbell hire lasted 3 days. He no call, no showed on the 4th day and needed a half a day plus to set up his tools and replace the wrong parts on a vehicle, and it was just, and complained about some HR stuff, and then complained that I actually rectified that HR stuff. So yeah, just not a good feeling all around, so we just let him go. Didn't want to deal with the headache. And then I got to recruit a new tech for the San Jose shop. So interview scheduled for today, interview scheduled for Monday, interview scheduled for yesterday that Dylan and Mark handled that I think went well. So yeah, plenty of interviewing going on. Closed out the books for the year. Fremont shop had a huge turnaround by the end of the year. The Campbell shop lost $166,000 in 2025, and the San Ramon shop made $60,000 for the year for 10 months. So San Ramon not doing what it can do, but doing pretty well. So I was happy about that. Campbell obviously needs a ton of help. We had a huge amount of expenses running through that shop. We had our sledgehammer diagnostic tech that didn't work out working there, so huge amount of payroll. And yeah, just a high cost, low gross margin structure that we've certainly turned around, and the new manager there is kind of killing it. So I'm happy about that. He has the highest sales for January in the first week so far. So yeah, that's what I got going on. Gonna be a short shooting video today, or a short, shoot, I guess I should say. But let me show you. I got my outfits here, different shirts, so we have some variety. I got a studio here, camera, lighting, chair. You're familiar with this from the last video. And then we got a good backdrop. I think that car might be in it, we'll see. And then those cars as well. The Passat wagon is in the backyard because it's gonna get detailed later today. This is going on a hot date with Evelyn for lunch. The Civic is outside. Dylan's R32 is outside. The truck is outside. Everything else is at home. That's it. E92 is at home. F80 actually is over there, other side of the shop. I put bigger wheels on it. We had to pull the fenders a little bit. And it still doesn't quite fit. That car is salvage title. The right side sits lower than the left side, so we have to do some additional suspension work there. We're waiting for parts. But the new wheels are cool, Vorsteiners. And I think that's going to be it for Driven Diary episode 122. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like so we can show up higher in the YouTube algorithm. Woo. If you have any questions or feedback about the episode, please leave a like or leave a comment below. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe so that you don't miss next week's Driven Diary. And until next week, I hope you can go out and continue to build your own automotive dreams and stay driven. Maybe you can get one of those someday, or maybe you already have one. I don't know. It's cool, isn't it? It's a cool freaking car. All right, that's all. Stay driven.